We're taking another look at the Cleveland Browns, deep diving these quarterbacks as we're on Shedeur Sanders' watch. Even though they beat the Green Bay Packers, there's still a lot of questions. There's still a lot in the media. There's still a lot rolling out on Shedeur Sanders right now. We're covering that here today. Before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now, because we're looking at what your players are doing behind the scenes. We're looking at the practice clips, the interviews, the radio shows to find what's under those rocks about your players. Click that button. Stop missing out. But the big question right now, even though they beat the Green Bay Packers, is when Joe Flacco's getting yanked, when he's hitting that bench, and they're bringing up Dillon Gabriel.
So you think Flacco will start against the Lions?
Yes.
But
again, I think they want him to play to get him through these 6 games. London, Pittsburgh.
And but winning this game helped.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if you're 0-3, fans are Tony. The tweet that got the most run for me yesterday was, "Are you ready? It's Dillon Gabriel time, anybody?" or something like that.
Yeah, and because of the offensive line too. If Conklin gets back on the field, I think Flacco has more confidence in what's in front of him. But Gabriel can get away from those situations. Totally under pressure, and the coaches know that. So it's not that they don't think Gabriel's ready. They think he's ready. But they think Flacco deserves a few more starts yet.
I'm not going to lie. Joe Flacco sucked in that game. He didn't look good during that game. I was wondering when he was going to get yanked. And then we go back to the All-22. He's missing a bunch of wide receivers. Isaiah Bond should have had a big day. The media is still talking about yanking him. How much longer can this be?
Joe Flacco's still our starting quarterback. You, me, Owen, is he still your starter?
Yes.
He's still our starting quarterback. Who's willing to make that change? Is anybody else willing to make the change right now? Is anybody willing to make the change right now? It's results-based. It shouldn't be results-based. It should be who gives us the best chance. But I think that when you win a game in a team fashion, he's the veteran. He gets another chance to go out there before the wheels fall off. I'm very much game to game, which probably isn't the way to look at it either. But I'm very much game to game by this.
Hey, Kenny, next week, they are 8.5 right now, 8.5-point dogs. Again, it's a huge Vegas giving you no respect whatsoever. And of course, the Lions play tonight, so they're gonna have a shorter week. Your game was over yesterday at 4:00. So think about that.
Well, you're right. By the way, the Packers had that little mini bye too. They played last Thursday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Makes it even more impressive.
Yes, that's a good point. I totally forgot that too. If Dillon Gabriel was announced the starter for next week, which he won't be, but if he were, I think that line balloons. Like that.
Yeah, especially because you're on the road, right?
I think there are fans who've seen Flacco struggle the last 2 weeks, and they're like, it can't possibly get worse. And I am here to tell you that absolutely with Dillon Gabriel, I think it could be worse on Sunday. So I do think we're getting to a point, and it's something we're going to be talking the rest of the week. Like if Flacco, if it looks hapless in Detroit, if they just, we know their offense, boy, I can't wait to see that test against our defense, as ferocious as our line was. If this thing gets ugly early next week, I wouldn't be surprised if they made a move.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think they would.
How much longer? Of course, if they keep getting W's, but we know they're not going to keep getting W's. Like, the odds are stacked against that with that quarterback play if we keep seeing that on Sunday. We thought we were going to see Dillon Gabriel going into this game and also during this game.
I also thought it was time for Flacco to come out, and let me explain myself. I'm not blaming Flacco. Browns played without their 2 starting tackles. I just thought seeing the kid in there, Gabriel, now, you know the kid I want. Seeing Gabriel in there, he can move. I just thought, didn't you think, we need some
I thought
wheels.
they were going to make the change, didn't you?
Well, Grossi texted us and said one more turnover he thought they would have done it.
You texted the group and said you're ready to see the kid.
That was the question, yet they still won. That's the thing about this. Joe Flacco and this offense right now, they can't really win you games. They can't be the sole reason why they win games, but they can be the sole reason why they lose games.
Here's the issue I have if I'm Kevin. I don't have a good option at quarterback right now. I don't have a good one. I have a competent one in Joe Flacco. He's not a good option. Right now, in their estimation, Dillon Gabriel is not a good option at quarterback, and Shedeur Sanders is not a good option at quarterback right now. Keywords are right now. Maybe they will be. At some point, like for instance, had they not come back and won this game, Andy, and had they lost 10-0, and they were 0-3,
change.
why would you continue with Joe Flacco at quarterback?
I agree.
You're now 1-2. The offense actually helped in the comeback yesterday. The offense in and of itself wasn't going to win that game for you. That was really obvious. And I think it's really obvious that the offense isn't going to win a game for you this year. The offense isn't going to win games for you. What this offense can't do is lose games for you. Joe Flacco can help you not lose games, I think. Can Dillon Gabriel? I'll bet he can, to be perfectly honest. I'll bet Dillon could go out and run the offense about as well as Joe has. And I say that knowing that there's a huge disparity in the experience, but Dillon brings some other attributes to the table that might help, and mobility is obviously the key one there. But if I'm Kevin, you just won a game against the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to roll with Joe Flacco and see what happens. The problem is, and I think this is a problem, this is what they put in the quarterback group.
Flacco's a statue. He's making bad decisions. He ain't getting the ball out there. He's missing on those reads. Guys wide open. How much longer until he gets pulled?
Don't put in Dillon Gabriel yet. I know exactly what I was thinking during that game, and guys, I agreed with all of you. I agreed with all of you that it's time for a change. Not during the game. I figured, you know what? Let's get to the end of this. And then I know it's on the road. You don't want to start rookies on the road, but there's no good time to do it anyway. So you got a week. You don't have like a Thursday mini bye game this year. So you know what? Let's go ahead and let's see the pup next week. Be indoors. Lions are a good team, but you know what? You play a lot of good teams. So it's going to happen one way or the other. Then they won the game. And you could say, well, wait a minute. Joe didn't do anything to help them win guys, I understand that, but I also have to take advantage of the veterans here and take them into account and say, do I, after a win, immediately cause something that what a team that's losing do? Would I pull a move that a team that's losing do and do that? Would I pull him out of there? And the answer is no. And it's results-based because I have to take care of my veterans.
How much longer is he going to be out there slinging the rock? That is the question. And when that happens, it's Dillon Gabriel time. And he's still a hot subject right now. And he should be. Flacco didn't play well. And the radio stations around Cleveland are like, hey, we noticed this. We got the win. We're going to celebrate. We noticed this. We still got a lot of football left to play. We got to go to London. But Quinshon Judkins was the savior of this offense. He's the future of this offense.
I thought Quinshon Judkins has some dog in him, man. Wow. That kid is an instant fit for this team. You watch him play with passion. My goodness. His first run went for 8 yards. He got up and bleeped some Packer defender, and the dude looked at him like, what? It's the first play of the game, dude.
Also, he totally sparked them. I thought the game was over, and the two runs on that drive was the first moment where I was like, you know what, the Browns might have a pull.
That combined with a strong defense, nasty elite defense that the media's starting to figure out.
Us being able to stick with the Packers and when it mattered most, turned it up, because it was almost like we got a second or a third win in that fourth quarter, and they had nothing. Their defense appeared to be gassed.
Yeah.
Their offense was wearing out. And granted, their offense lost 2 starters in the course of that game. And again, we see what our defensive line does to offensive lines. So imagine you got your 2s and 3s out there now going against that defensive front. You're going to get manhandled and slaughtered like we saw our scout team, like we saw our 2s and 1s and other teams get done during the course of preseason. So that defense is certainly for real.
All this time we knew, and Stefanski was going to ride that defense out and try to win the turnover battle, win the clock. So far, struggling to start the season. Did it last week, though. That defense stepped up.
Stefanski needed that win worse than anybody. The veterans, Chris, needed that win. The rookies need to know what it's like to win and not just practice and lose every week. The freaking fans needed to win. They were booing Joe Flacco. Yes, I wanted to see Gabriel. I did. But I'll give Stefanski credit. He stuck with the kicker, and he stuck with Flacco, and it paid off for him.
Another thing that we're seeing here from Browns camp. Mary K Cabbot questioned Deion Sanders. I guess the Eagles were involved in the draft pick of Shedeur. Like, they were interested in him, as we already knew. I don't know why she keeps putting out articles on that. I don't know why I keep making videos, but I was told that I couldn't. And also, there's just things that keep coming up where I can talk about.
I don't think it's all Joe Flacco's fault. And I get that, the quarterback's the easiest guy to change, and maybe there's a spark, and maybe it is about the quarterback and decision-making, and I get it. He's the most important guy in the field. And Joe wasn't perfect yesterday, missed a couple of throws, but he also protected the ball. And to me, it's more about, going back to what I just said a minute ago, it's about the style of play. And they are playing so conservatively that it's going to be a bunch of checkdowns. It's going to be runs on third down that set up punts. And that's hard to watch as a fan. And Joe said it a million times after the game. It's hard. And he gets the frustration of the fans. And, he wants to be out there putting up yards. And he knows the guys on offense want to be out there putting up yards. But he doesn't feel like they're in a spot offensively where they're going to be explosive. So to give yourself the best chance to win and support that defense, it's checkdowns, and it's running the ball, and it's punting. And when you have that mentality, then I think it's hard to really criticize the quarterback when, I think he's being coached to throw the swing pass to Jerome Ford all day long and to dump it to Harold Fannin.
There's a reason why they keep calling for Dillon Gabriel. There's a reason why. And once Dillon Gabriel comes out, it ain't going to be too much longer until Shedeur comes out. It ain't going to be too much longer. One domino's coming down. That's the Flacco domino. Then it's the Gabriel domino. Then it's the Shedeur Sanders domino. And then we'll see what he's got. The thing about this, though, all he's got to do is make a couple plays a game, hand it off to Judkins. Sounds easier than what it is, of course, but that defense can cook. And we're getting out of this meteor part of the season, that rough part of the schedule here. Like, you don't want him in his first start against that London game. You don't want that happening. We're watching this from afar. We're watching the circus implode right now with the Cleveland Browns. We're just watching it implode right now. Gabriel, is he going to be ready? He can get the ball out there. He can be quick with it. He's more mobile than Flacco. And if Flacco keeps this up, they're going to have to make a change. They're going to have to. And the fact that he's so stationary, he might catch the wrong hit somewhere down the line where they have to make the change. That's the thing about this. We see Deshaun Watson working out. Looks like he's getting better. You catch people on Twitter saying he's going to be the next man up. And some of these radio shows have been saying, hey, he could be sneaking in there. And all I can say is the Browns are the Browns. The Browns have been awful with their quarterbacks for my entire life. I don't know when's the last time. Like, it's really hard. Like when you think the Cleveland Browns, you think Vinny Testaverde. And you think that jersey that guy's wearing in the picture of all the nameplates. You think Tim Couch. You think Johnny Manziel. You think that. And you think, oh, they're picking the wrong players. Yes. But you're also saying that's leadership top down. And like I said, training camp, it was a mess. They had 4 quarterbacks. And maybe Flacco needed more work. Maybe they should have reduced that to 3. Having 4 quarterbacks out there, splitting up the reps, trying to figure out how to get the young guys in. Shedeur, wire to wire, completing 70-80% of his passes. Couldn't get any reps with the ones. Not even a quick series. And that's really all I called for. And it's just a quick series of practice clips. Let's see what he's got. Let's rock it. And if he does well, let's give him another. Does well, let's give him another. Oh, you're worried about Gabriel? Oh, you drafted him first? Well, he just had 3 practices in a row where he completed 20 to 30% of his passes. Let's put his feet to the fire. You need to see what you got in these quarterbacks. You got 2 first-round picks coming up. You got a nasty defense. This quarterback class for next year's draft looks deep, but they're trying to set themselves apart right now. And there could be a chance where you get a bunch of good quarterbacks from this class, but none of them set themselves apart enough to where it may not be worth it for you. But you have 2 guys on the roster here. You could have had battle for the future. Like, you're looking at this team, you thinking Super Bowl? You're thinking Super Bowl with that quarterback play you saw on Sunday, even though you won that game? Like, you're going to be caught up on. Like, that ain't going to happen. Like, they mismanaged this whole thing like they've always had. They shouldn't have drafted Shedeur if they weren't going to have the appropriation of workload or manage his workload appropriately. And on top of that, Gabriel, same thing. Like, the thing is, it's starting to get a moral aspect here where you're looking at Gabriel and Shedeur, and you're like, these are 2 young guys, and their career is in this coaching staff's hands. And we're watching Flacco here not play well, not look good. We're watching the practices, training camp, minicamp, OTAs, and we're like, why is there no changes? Why can't it even be a little bit longer? Why can't Shedeur get a little bit more opportunity since he earned it? Why can't that happen? Then you hang on to that preseason game. All those guys are cut, especially those offensive linemen. You go to the first one, most of those guys are cut too. So you go to that. He's throwing the equipment guys the first couple days of practice. Like, they didn't have a plan. You're sitting there watching practice, and it's like an hour or so in. Then he's finally getting reps in 11 versus 11, a little bit with 2s, mostly with 3s, mostly with the guys that got cut. He's completing his passes, looking good. From accounts, from the numbers, from the clips I've posted. You're looking at Dillon Gabriel, had a run of bad practices, got banged up. Didn't spark any competition during that time. That was the key. That was the key. I said going in. I said back in May during rookie camp, odds were stacked against Shedeur. They definitely were. Due to him being a late-round pick and due to it being the Cleveland Browns. I caught a lot of flack for that. But now you get it. It's the Cleveland Browns. So now you can either root for him to come up with the Cleveland Browns or root against the Browns for that opinion. But now when you're thinking about that, too, like, his time is coming. Flacco ain't going to be able to hold this down much longer. He's just not going to be able to. He ain't going to be able to hold this down much longer. His time is coming. Gabriel, from what we saw in practice, as he gets off script, it goes array. It goes array. I remember showing those videos, and you guys like, my God, he was bad. My God, he was bad in those practices. That's the thing about that. I know there's a lot of believers in Gabriel, but the thing about that, we saw him get very volatile. We saw him get very volatile in practice. We saw him get volatile in preseason. And Shedeur got volatile in that one preseason game. However, you can't say that in practice. And you can't say that with the first preseason game. So, to me, he's got more under his belt than Gabriel has. Even though Gabriel got more opportunities with 1s and 2s. But he also had more opportunities and more signs of failure already. He needs more seasoning. He needs more time. Flacco's about to get yanked. And if Gabriel gets yanked after that, or something happens to him, Shedeur is up. His time is coming. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.